He didn't lead armies. He didn't sign declarations. And yet this man walked straight into enemy camps and changed the course of the Revolutionary War, without firing a single shot. When we think about the American Revolution, we picture generals, cannons, and grand speeches. Rarely do we hear about the people working in the shadows, whose actions quietly shifted the balance of power. James Armistead is one of those people. Born a slave, he became a spy whose intelligence was so crucial that it helped the Patriots win at Yorktown. James Armistead was born around 1748 in Virginia into slavery. Life was defined by laws that treated him as property, not a person. He couldn't testify in court, own land, or move freely. Every day, he worked for someone else's benefit. And yet, even in bondage, enslaved people heard everything. They overheard debates about liberty, natural rights, and taxation without representation, all while knowing those discussions didn't include them. That was Armistead's first classroom. Listening, observing, remembering, these skills became his most powerful weapons. When the Revolutionary War broke out in 1775, it disrupted the social order just enough to create openings. Both the British and the Patriots offered freedom to enslaved people who served their cause. It wasn't about morality, it was strategy. For Armistead, this was an opportunity, but also a dangerous gamble. In 1781, with permission from his enslaver, Armistead joined the Patriot forces under the Marquis de Lafayette. He didn't march into battle. Instead, he became a spy, posing as a runaway slave seeking protection from the British. And worked, because the British underestimated him. He moved through British camps, listened to officers, observed troop positions, and even gained access to Benedict Arnold's camp after Arnold switched sides. Then he returned to Lafayette with detailed intelligence, exactly what commanders needed to plan a decisive strike. But Armistead didn't stop there. He deliberately misled British leaders, feeding them false information about Patriot strength and coordination. That deception gave the Americans a strategic edge. Imagine that. He turned the British trust in him into a weapon against them. By the fall of 1781, General Cornwallis had set up at Yorktown, Virginia, confident he could hold his ground. He expected support from the British Navy and believed he had room to maneuver. He was wrong. American and French forces surrounded Yorktown by land, while the French Navy blocked escape by sea. The Patriots didn't guess their moves, they knew them. Thanks to Armistead's intelligence, Washington and Lafayette had insights into British troop strength, defenses, and plans. October 19th, Cornwallis surrendered, effectively ending the war. It's hard to measure exactly how much one person can change a battle, but Lafayette himself credited Armistead's reports as essential. Intelligence narrowed uncertainty, and uncertainty often decides wars. Here's the part that hits hard. After all that risk, after helping win the war, Armistead returned to slavery. Freedom wasn't automatic. Virginia law didn't guarantee emancipation for enslaved people who aided the Patriots. So, Armistead had to petition the legislature. He asked for official recognition of his service, a request that could have been ignored or rejected. It was a slow, uncertain process. Luckily, Lafayette submitted testimony supporting Armistead, detailing the risks he took and the value of his intelligence. This endorsement carried weight. In 1787, 6 years after his espionage, James Armistead finally received his freedom. He added Lafayette to his name, James Armistead Lafayette, not just as gratitude but as a statement of dignity and partnership. Armistead went on to purchase land and farm as a free man. He even received a state pension for his wartime service, a rare recognition for black veterans. His life was a quiet triumph, a reminder that bravery doesn't always come with parades or monuments. Armistead's story challenges the narrative of American freedom. He fought for a nation that didn't yet consider him fully human under its laws. He believed in principles that were inconsistently applied. This tension echoes across Black American history, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War, and even in modern military service. Black Americans have repeatedly contributed to national defense while pushing the country to expand its definition of citizenship. His life also shows another form of power, the kind that isn't loud or visible. Strategy, patience, and subtlety. He turned invisibility into access, underestimated status into influence, and information into impact. The shadows, it turns out, can be where the decisive work happens. Imagine it. Yorktown, 1781. Cornwallis expects to hold the line. The British Navy is nearby. The Patriots are supposed to be uncoordinated. But Armistead's intelligence flips that script. He knew the British were stretched thin, misinformed, and vulnerable. His observations and reports allowed Lafayette and Washington to orchestrate the siege that forced Cornwallis to surrender. One man, silent, invisible, and underestimated, shaped the outcome of a war that would define a nation. James Armistead. Lafayette's life is a story of courage, intelligence, and quiet rebellion. He reminds us that history isn't just shaped by those with armies or signatures on documents. Sometimes it's shaped by those who navigate impossible odds, use their minds, and take risks that others can't even imagine. His story complicates the idea of freedom. It shows that liberty isn't always given, it's fought for, even when the world says you have no right to claim it. If you thought Armistead's story was incredible, click the next video to uncover another hidden hero who changed history from the shadows.